Good evening. And this group is presented by me, Iago, Ana, Fernanda, Jean, and Mateus. And we are here today to talk about of our pick, developed this semester. The company named Kuritsi was founded in 2018, more specifically in January. It makes flip-flops made of rubber from an extractive reserve in Acre. Our headquarters is based in Indaiatuba, São Paulo, and our distribution center is located in Simões Filho, Bahia. How can we see in the slides? It happens because connect our distribution channels and help us to get advantages in our markets, reducing the distance for our customers, according with our past presentations about the company.
Karit's value chain is divided in five parts: import, export, marketing, financial, and legal. Importation: the company will seek to reduce and optimize logistics importation using the drawback regime. Export: where it was approached which would be the best Incoterm and model to be used in the operation of the company, which in this case was the maritime model with Xworks. The financial management that aimed to analyze exchange rate variations and present the cost of exports. Marketing, with the part of expansion of market sales with promotional and social marketing. And finally, the legal part, which briefly takes care of the company's patents part. Caritzi starts from the beginning of its philosophy with vision, mission, and value based on the sustainability of its products. With this, Caritzi uses natural raw material from extractive reserves in Acre, in addition to adding great value with part of the making of slippers carried out by hand.
Using a board as a platform, the game is aimed to international trade area and has as a target audience precisely people who have a good background in general areas. With this, after the player goes through situations, decisions, and the consequences imposed during the game, it seeks to comply with the objective of doubling the net profit of exports. The game is composed by 50 cards with questions, considering that each question has three alternatives with three different consequences like advance, stagnation, and return. Five pawns with different colors, used to represent competing companies, one board, and 10 wild cards, used to assist or harm players.
The rules of the game were divided into four. The first is about the player's decision, about who will start and who will be the mediator or controller. After such definitions, the person who will start the game must throw the personalized dice, which has six sides, five of which are marked with the areas mentioned above, and one side for the word wildcard, which will be explained later. The second rule is about after defining the face of the dice. When the player will receive a question, which will be relative to defined area, having three answer options. If the participant gets it right, he advances one space. If he answers something neutral that does not fit either right or wrong, it remains in place. And if it's wrong, the player returns one place. In case the player is starting the game and misses, the piece remains in the same place since there is no possibility of regression. The third rule is about the dice side mentioned earlier, called the wild card. For this side of the dice, there are bonus cards. These have direct instructions without asking questions for the participant. And the fourth and final rule is about how the game will end. This will happen when a participant arrives first with his piece at the last square. The board has a total of 25 squares. All answered cards must be returned to the end of the deck for reuse in case the game is not resolved in the first cycle of the deck, also for wild cards.
Basically, the main objective of the game is to double net profit from export of a company with market decisions.
In conclusion, as presented during the game, the player will achieve the main goal by getting the highest amount of correct answers. The options presented in the questions are linked to the steps that a company usually has to face when trying to break into a new market, in this case, the international one. Even with a high number of correct guesses, there are still some barriers that can affect the company, such as the big competition outside the national market, and sometimes leading to difficulties in establishing a big advantage over its competitors, considering the huge number of products that are offered in the international scenario. There are also questions and situations that can put the company's market share growth on hold by simply not presenting any new products that cause a good impact in the current scenario. During the game, this is represented by the choices that aren't fully correct. We also have the wrong choices that were made or chosen during the game, resulting in not achieving the main goal of the game. In the same way that would happen in the business world. By taking the wrong guesses, the company could lose its market share and its credibility among your business partners.